Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Change habits that drain your bank account. Change habits. I was going to say wallet, but I know I had some lady viewers and I don't know if y'all carrying a wallet. So, but just in general, change habits that drain your bank account, because in my previous episode, I was talking about developing a concrete plan to reduce your debt. I'm going to tell you what, many people get in debt because, let's be real, you get all that, you get that nice food from some of those fancy restaurants, you get a little bit extra. Shoot. You might get something, you might just be shopping or something, get a little bit extra. It might be small, it seems small and stuff. In fact, I'm going to give you an example of, in the past, what would drain my bank account. But, stuff adds up. Stuff adds up quickly. And all of a sudden, you're like, wow, how my credit cards get to this level? And then it can just be little things here and there. And all of a sudden, you're just like, wow. And what it is, it's a habit where you're just buying extra stuff. Like if you go in mainly grocery stores, but even some retail stores, you notice, always pay attention what they have near the register. That's specifically to get you to buy some extra, impulse buy. A lot of people get caught up with that because you notice they got the gossip magazines. As you in line, you see something, boom. That's why they sell so much. Always, like as a general rule, you can get an idea of what any business is trying to sell you. Like I said, pay attention, pay close attention what they have by the register. It's always that extra thing, impulse. And then, of course, we like to go out, we like to eat. We like that fancy thing, going to that fancy steak place or, that seafood place. And, you better tip them. So it's like, you look up, you spend an extra $100, $200 someplace. And it's like you out, you getting some clothes. And you gotta get those shoes. They looking nice. And they on sale too. All of a sudden you like, wait a minute. I don't have much money in my account. In fact, that's why you get some people, they can be making high 5 figures, 6 figures, and they still living paycheck to paycheck. Because, they driving that fancy car. They might have that nice home or something, and just because their neighbor fixed up their driveway, they gotta get theirs paved too. Just because their neighbor got a boat, they got a boat too, knowing they only going to use it like once a year. But all of those buys, for a variety of reasons. And see, that's what drains your bank account. A lot of times people get stuff they don't need. Then they get into debt. But you have to change that. And I said I was going to use an example from my own life. I'm going to tell you what. Rom likes to read. Rom likes to read. And I told you, there was a time my credit was jacked up. I couldn't get a job with that credit. Seriously, that's how jacked up it was. They were doing credit checks. I remember I applied at a certain retail place, which they kind of going out of business. So maybe they shouldn't have did this, but they wanted to check your credit. I'm like, what? Somebody try to get by. As an aside, just a quick tangent. Businesses that do that, if they're not like a federal government thing, which I understand, they're going to check your credit because they want to make sure they don't have any spies. But, people getting a job to fix their credit. It was crazy, right? It was crazy. But then I started thinking about, okay, I'm spending all this extra money. I'm getting in trouble. What can I do to deal with this? One habit is watching a bunch of stuff on different cable channels and stuff like that. Do you really need all of that? Because trust me, if hypothetically, money starts getting tight for me, well, other than finding other stuff to do, I would be like, I don't really need this cable channel. I don't really need this. I don't need all these channels. See, that could be a problem. But what it was with me, though, let me get back to me. I used to read magazines like crazy. Like any magazine. It could be one story in there, a 2-page story in a magazine, and I would buy it, you know? And, you know, they're more expensive now, but back in the day, if it was a $5 magazine, that's still $5. Nowadays, that same magazine might be $10, but, you know, I would buy it, and I had stacks of magazines, and it'd be like one story in there. Like one thing in there. I look at the rest, but it'd be like one thing in there. It's like no educational value to it. You know? Like I'll still get a magazine every now and then you know, every now and then. And I do mean it, but it's usually like a business magazine or something. It's almost always a business magazine now. And it always has multiple articles in it. And I would sit in the store and go through it. In fact, some people, they're smart with it. They'll go in like some of these bookstores, sit in a chair, read the article, and then put the magazine back. So, which is actually smart. But that was a habit that was draining my bank account. You know, if you're getting like 10 magazines or something, or, you know, at the time that was what, $50. Shoot, that could have went to something else. That could have been in the savings, just getting that little bit of interest or something. And plus it was taking up space. You know, a major habit is eating at major restaurants all the time. You know, sometimes, hey, there's nothing wrong with cooking. It could be anything. Your habit could be buying like just clothes for no reason. You get some people, they have like big shoe collections that they don't need. They don't use at all. And they just have it. Shopaholics. Like you get a lot of people that shopaholics. They just feel good shopping, but that's draining their bank account. You know? See, what you have to do is say, okay, what are you doing that's spending extra money? What's the habit there? Because that's what it really comes down to. It comes down to the habit. Yeah, you might have to cut back on, you might not need all of these clothes. Okay. You know, you don't have to buy stuff. You can use it over and over. You know, just keep them up. Buy quality clothes. You don't need to eat at all these restaurants. You can buy, you get used to cooking. You actually save money. You know? Just think in terms of what habit? Like you might have that habit of something in you got to have everything spectacular. You want that big luxury car you know you can't afford. Get the more economy car that gets you from A to B, and it was easy to keep up anyway, you know? But look at your habits, like look at all of your spending habits. Look at everything and ask yourself, do I really need this? Do I really need this? Like something I do, let me just share something I do. Every single thing I buy, it has to have some potential to make money. It's an investment. Like the shoes I got, I do have extra shoes upstairs that I'm only worn a few times, but I will wear them for public events and I keep them. So if I'm doing something public, I just break them out. That's an investment because if I'm doing some public speaking, I need to look clean, but it's an investment. Now I know people have seen me on my other channels wearing the polo shirts and everything. And somebody actually joked that polo should be giving me some type of fee or something. And well, probably they should, but that's actually an investment. And even then, I didn't spend full price on them. I always get them from outlets. I always get them from outlets on sale. So it could be up to, I've gotten polos up to like 60% off, like from the normal retail price. But even then, those were investments because anybody who knows me in the real world, I don't wear them casually out. They strictly for image on this channel. I actually wear, like when I'm out and about, I actually wear very nondescript, no label clothing when I'm out and about. So, but even then, thinking that term, and even then that's to make more money. So think in terms of how you spend money to make more money. And then that way it takes out anything that's kind of really unnecessary, really impulsive. So really think in those terms, but change those habits. It will help you to reduce your debt because then you don't create the debt, okay? So anyway, y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.